There's big news coming out of Baltimore. The kind of news that changes the mood in the locker room and gets everyone's heart racing. The Ravens' offense has been missing a key piece. But now things might be about to turn around. Isaiah Likely, the tight end who's been improving year after year and already looked like the future of the position, could be back sooner than anyone expected. But the way this story started, the drama of the injury, and now the signs of recovery at a twist nobody saw coming. And that's where it gets really interesting, because his return could completely change what Baltimore looks like on the field in the coming weeks. Think about the level of expectation around Isaiah Likely. Last season, he had already proven he could be one of the most important weapons in the Ravens' offense, someone Lamar Jackson could trust in big moments. And then, before the season even began, during training camp, came a news nobody wanted to hear. He broke his foot. It was a gut punch for the team and the fans, because everyone knew Likely was on the verge of becoming a star. That absence hit even harder, because the Ravens' tight end group struggled to get going. Without Likely, the offense lacked that spark, that guy who could shift the momentum of a drive. Things got predictable, and the dip in production only highlighted just how valuable he had already become. Losing a backup is one thing, but losing someone about to step into a major role is completely different. For Baltimore, this wasn't just another piece going down. Likely is young, still on the rise, and every game without him means less chemistry being built with the offense. The season had barely started, and the team was already dealing with a hole in a position group that was supposed to be a strength. It stalled the momentum of a unit that had all the potential to take another leap in 2024. What makes it sting even more is how it happened. This wasn't a game situation or a violent collision. It happened during a simple practice rep. It's a reminder how unpredictable football can be, how one small moment can change an entire team's plans. And that's exactly where the story gets more intriguing, how this single play ended up costing the Ravens so much. Which takes us right into the next part, because Likely himself explained in detail how it all went down. The most interesting part is that Isaiah Likely shared exactly how it happened. And it wasn't some highlight reel hit or brutal collision. It was almost ordinary. He was lined up one-on-one against safety Sanusi Kane. He caught the ball clean, but when he came down, his foot landed awkwardly. In that same split second, Kane made a play on the ball and accidentally stepped right on his foot. And just like that, everything changed. Likely said that the moment he tried to get up, he felt he couldn't put any pressure on it. The pain was sharp and different, not your typical ankle roll. He headed straight inside for tests, and the MRI confirmed it, a fracture in his fifth metatarsal. For anyone who follows the game, that's a tough injury. It requires surgery, and the recovery isn't short. No wonder the news hit so hard at the start camp. His story is a reminder that as physical and intense as football is, it can also be cruel in the smallest details. This was a monster hit, not a reckless tackle. Just an ordinary practice rep gone wrong. And that's the scary part. How quickly everything can change, with no warning at all. At the same time, hearing Likely talk about it now, calm, smiling, focus on what's ahead, adds a different tone to the whole thing. It feels like he's already turned the page. And that's what makes the next stage so important. Returning to practice and getting that feel for the field again. Which brings us to the next step. The signs of progress that had Ravens fans breathing a little easier. Last week, Ravens fans finally got some good news. Isaiah Likely was back on practice field. It wasn't a full-speed return, running routes against defenders, but just seeing him warming up, moving, and working with tight ends coach George Godsey was enough to lift the mood. After surgery and weeks of uncertainty, every step back onto the field feels like a huge win. He showed up on the official injury report as a limited participant, but that's still a massive step forward. It means the staff trusts his recovery enough to let him do football activities again. This isn't rehab behind closed doors. This is real on-field work. For any player coming back from injury, that's the moment when hope starts to turn into reality. What also speaks volumes is the decision Baltimore made before the season. They didn't place him on injured reserve, which would have automatically kept him out at least 4 games. That move showed confidence that he could return sooner, and now it's paying off. Seeing him already practicing proves that bet was the right one. Of course, there's still a road ahead. He needs to regain trust in his foot, feel confident planting, cutting, and exploding off it. But just reaching this stage fuels optimism. Each practice rep brings him closer to game speed, closer to stepping back into live action. And speaking of game action, there's already a date circled on the calendar, a primetime matchup against the Detroit Lions.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.
With the Ravens facing the Lions under the lights in Week 3, anticipation is through the roof. This isn't just any game. It's a national stage, a tough opponent, and the perfect spotlight for Likely to make his return. The possibility alone has people buzzing. In the locker room, in the fan base, everywhere. It feels like the perfect stage for a comeback. But, of course, it all comes down to how he feels. Likely himself admitted the toughest part now isn't just physical, it's mental. He has to trust that his foot will hold up, that he can cut and explode without hesitation. Because a hesitant player isn't the same player, and he knows that better than anyone. He said it himself. The key is being me, stepping back on the field ready to make the big plays that define his game. Those words show just how aware he is of the expectations around him. It's not only the coaching staff waiting for him, it's teammates, the locker room, and the entire fan base. Everyone's eager to see him pick up where he left off, as the kind of tight end who can swing the momentum of a game. There's no official word yet on whether he'll suit up against the Lions, but the simple fact that it's even on the table changes the outlook. Baltimore knows it's close to getting a major piece back, and that could be huge for how the season unfolds. If his return happens under the primetime lights, it'll be a moment to remember, and that moment would carry even more weight, because Likely's been steadily climbing, proving each year that he belongs in the spotlight. The hype around Likely is completely justified. He's been improving every single year, and he's shown clear signs that he's more than just a complimentary piece. Last season was his best yet, 42 catches for 177 yards and 6 touchdowns, numbers that showed he's capable of stepping up and carrying more responsibility in the Ravens' offense. That steady growth builds confidence for both the player and the team. Each season, he adds something new, plays with more maturity, and becomes a bigger weapon. For an offense built on versatility and creativity, a tight end who can line up in multiple spots and force mismatches is pure gold. His return is about much more than adding another target for Lamar Jackson. It's about unlocking an offense that's been stuck in neutral to start the year. Likely has a kind of skill set that changes how defenses prepare. He stretches coverages, draws attention, and creates opportunities that ripple through the whole playbook. That's why every positive update about him sparks so much excitement. Baltimore knows that with Likely healthy, the offense looks completely different. This isn't just another player returning from injury. It's a potential game changer, someone who can redefine the ceiling of this unit. And now, with his return inching closer, the real question is, once he's back, how far can this Ravens offense go? What started as a major setback at the beginning of the season could end up being one of the best developments for the Ravens. Isaiah Likely isn't just on track to return sooner than expected. He's coming back at a moment when the offense desperately needs new firepower. Every update shows he's getting closer to being that difference maker again. So here's the question. Do you think Likely's return in Week 3 could completely change the Ravens offense and take this team to another level? One thing's for sure. With Isaiah Likely back in the lineup, Baltimore gains a whole new dimension. His return has all the makings of a turning point in the season, and it could be exactly what puts the Ravens back on track for big-time performances. And that's the kind of news every fan loves to hear.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important, because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.